Today's November 9th at 4:24 p.m. I'm about to start the pattern Caribou Crossing by the Petite Knitter, not to be confused with Petite Knit. My goal is to knit a different Christmas sweater every single year so that then, I don't know. I love a good tradition and I love something that's seasonal, so I'm really excited for that. This time I actually got wise and I wrote down everything about the pattern that I kind of need to know if I were to make another one of these. I really like the designer who does this one, so I want to have a good sense of how to do the sizing, because I feel like the last few times I've knit one of her patterns, it's been too small or just a little bit too tight. And so I'm trying to get a good gauge for how I should approach sizing from her patterns in particular. Like, I got her book, Arctic Knits, on pre-order, and there's a lot of patterns in there that I would like to make. So I chose size 3. I already did the swatch, and it took 4.5 millimeter needles, and I swatched in the round where it was like using magic loop. So it was just a tiny little tube essentially to get exactly like what my gauge is going to look like in the round using the color work with Fair Isle. So I only had to go up 0.5 millimeter in order to obtain gauge, which I actually got it on the first try, which was exciting. The yarn weight is 50 grams per 106 meters, and I got 600 grams of the main color and 100 grams of the contrast. That's a typo. I ordered Mayflower Easy Care Classic. This is a Hobie yarn. I would highly recommend going to the Hobie. It's Hobii. That website is great for finding, they categorize things really nicely, and there's a lot of really good affordable yarn on there. So this is what I typically use. It's like my go-to DK if I'm just ordering online in large quantities like this. One thing that I liked about this one a ton, this is obviously just a cream. This color was called Chestnut, and I feel like, I was just looking for a good brown, but a lot of the reason why I ended up ordering this one was because of like chestnut as in on a roasting fire. I thought that was very appropriate for what we're doing here. I'm really excited for this pattern. I've actually knit this before. I knit one of these last year, and this was my first ever big color work project, and it did not turn out the way that I wanted it. The neckline ended up being way too tall, so I doubled it over, and then the whole thing ended up being too tight, but luckily it fits my mom perfectly. So I said, okay, this year I am going to make sure that I get this right, and then it'll be fun because me and my mom are gonna have matching sweaters. Probably what I'm gonna do, because we have, at this time at school, it's like next week and the week after that, and then 2 days before Thanksgiving break, and I feel like I can probably knit this entire sweater in that period of time if I'm really disciplined about it. So that is gonna be my goal. It is Saturday, November 16th at 4:53 p.m. and this is day 7 of working on Caribou Crossing, and we are here. I was gonna do an update right when I finished the yoke, but that ended up being at like 2 a.m. on Friday morning. And it seemed like a bad idea to do that, as this is the room that's right next to our bedroom, and I didn't want to wake up my wife. I was up at that time because our dog Henry wanted to go out and he rang his little bell, and then I said, well, I may as well just be up now. The way that I was able to get through the yoke and so much of this so quickly, one thing, it's really addicting doing the color work, but I also divided the sections of the chart so that it was basically, I think it was like, what was it? I think it was like 12 rows a day. It was nice to have a daily goal, and it did get longer each day, but it was manageable enough. And I think with the DK weight and working with 4.5 millimeter needles, that made it a lot easier to achieve. And now that I'm actually past the yoke, I did some calculations to figure out how to finish either by next Wednesday or next Thursday.
With the body or with the whole thing?
The body. I can't remember exactly what the calculations that I did, but I have a daily number that I'm working with of rows to get finished with the body now in the next week or so. And then I know from experience doing this before that the sleeves only take a couple of days. I feel like either basically Thanksgiving Day or right before Thanksgiving is when I'm gonna be finished with this sweater, which is exactly when I was kind of intending. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I was able to try it on. It's kind of hard to tell because the stockinette stitch is curling a bit, but this fits so much better because I think the first time I made this, well, one, I was very unfamiliar with how to work with Fair Isle. I thought it was like my second Fair Isle project. This time I modified the collar and I did 2 sizes up. I'm just really excited to crank the rest of this out and actually be able to have it to wear. All right, it's 8:04 p.m. on Tuesday, November 26th. Today was our last day of school before Thanksgiving break, and I have got the Caribou crossing almost done. It could have taken me exactly 2 weeks to get this done, but I was kind of busy. We had like a fall art show going on at school, so there was a lot to prepare for. So that slowed down the process a little bit, but this still has gone really quickly. I almost finished with the body on our first snow this season, which was really exciting. So it was really fun just knitting, sitting on the couch, looking out, and seeing that. Last night I was working on the bulk of the sleeve while I was watching the Blues Brothers, which was really fun. But tomorrow we go to my wife's grandmother's house in Remington, where I've been several times in this knitting log. And I'm gonna make sure to bring my blocking boards and everything because I'm probably gonna work a little bit more on the sleeve tonight. I think we will decorate a bit for Christmas. And then that'll make it really easy to just finish the sleeve tomorrow and block it there and then be able to wear it probably first time on Thanksgiving. All right, it's Sunday, December 29th at 6:03 p.m. But I've actually had the sweater done for a long time. I'm sorry, my dog is freaking out. So I have worn this sweater all throughout the Christmas season, which was my intention. And this is the 3rd time I've knit a pattern by the Petite Knitter. But this pattern fits exactly like I had hoped it would. Aside from the fit, I really love the color scheme, how that all turned out. Like the darker brown with the cream is really good. It kind of reminds me of an antique or like a Christmas cookie kind of situation. I already know that I'm gonna knit another pattern by the Petite Knitter next fall for next year's Christmas sweater. So eventually building up a really big collection of those. Yeah, I would give this pattern 5 Caribous out of 5. Thank you guys for watching.